So the impetus to go peat-free has never really been stronger, and there are so many cheaper peat alternative composts out there. Not all of them are particularly good or particularly reliable or standard across the whole range. I tend to use the ones that are based on sheep's wool and bracken. I find those work really well for me, and I've got used to them quite quickly. Making that transition from peat-based composts onto peat alternatives is quite tricky for a lot of people. And if you look at a lot of the alternatives, you'll find that they are in fact very, very fibrous in their content. And that means that they don't always perform as you would want them. They either very, very free drained or they retain too much moisture. And there are a lot of fibres in here. And it's also partially decomposed, so it takes a while to break down and turn into something that is really useful as a good compost. So there's no such thing for me with a peat-free compost as having a multi-purpose peat-free compost, really. Don't think it exists. But being organic matter, that's a really good basis to add to things like loam or garden soil in appropriate quantities so that you get a good mixture that's really suitable for growing plants in pots and containers. So I've tried to do without that peat alternative compost, as I say, with the exception of the sheep's wool and bracken based ones. And what I'm trying to do now is experiment with coir. And coir on its own, I don't think really works for me. Coir fibre, you buy it in these compressed blocks and then you soak it in water, just dip it into water and leave it floating there. We'll see how it gets on during the course of this video. But what happens is it expands, absorbs water, that solid block, and it expands to many times its own volume. And then that fibre is a really good source of organic material, organic matter that we can make composts out of. And what I've done is I've taken to using it in a mixture with loam, buying bagged loam or using my own garden soil sieved to take all the lumps out, and then mixing it in equal parts by volume, 50% coir, 50% loam, to make what is quite a heavy compost, but actually the fibrous nature of the coir keeps it nice and open, the structure, and then the density of the loam really is a good weight that gives the plants something beefy to get their roots into. So that's a 50-50 or equal parts by volume mixture of coir fibre and loam or your garden soil. And I think it makes a perfectly adequate compost. I then tailor that compost mixture, my own mixture, with other things, particularly coarse horticultural grit. I find this is a really useful way of adding mineral matter to a compost to open up the structure, keep it free drained, because remember that plant roots need air as well as they need moisture. So this coarse horticultural grit added to the compost in various quantities really, depending on what you're growing. So something like pelargoniums, for example, they would need a more open, grittier, free draining structure, as would things like succulents. So I would add probably this already mixed 50-50 coir and loam. I would mix this mixture with 50% grit for those sorts of things as well, so 50-50 mixture of that. But you could add just 1 part or a 25% addition of coarse horticultural grit to a 75% compost blend that you've made, and that would be suitable for a whole range of different plants. Meantime, let's have a look at how this coir fibre is doing. It's already begun to expand, it's doing really well. It's swollen up, not a brick anymore, it's doing really well. It's got lots of water absorbed into it. It's making a really nice fibrous material that will go into my next batch of homemade garden compost.